In the tropics, and today one of the most powerful images that we've seen is coming to us from a highway in New Orleans. Parked along the feeder are boats, trailers, RVs, and other vehicles that you can see here, all moved there by their owners ahead of Tropical Storm Marco that is expected to hit later on tonight. We do want to bring in meteorologist Justin Stapleton, who's been tracking both Marco and Laura, wondering the timing of these, Justin.
Well, Marco is likely going to be making landfall sometime later this evening, possibly overnight into early Wednesday. The storm has really weakened considerably, so it really won't be that big of an issue. I think a lot of what they're prepping there for is Laura, which is going to come in possibly as a Category 2 hurricane, may even be stronger than that when it makes landfall. I'm going to get to all of those in a sec. First, I want to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to see for this afternoon. Not only that, just got a word here from a reporter over in Beaumont saying that Port Arthur Mayor Thuman Barty said they are planning a mandatory evacuation of the city of Port Arthur beginning tomorrow at 6 a.m. And of course, we're going to have officials from Galveston County give us an update later on this afternoon around 3 o'clock. So we'll see how they will sort of determine the next 24, 48 hours as we go through. Right now, though, it's pretty quiet outside. We've got 87 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, a couple of low 90s sprinkled out there as well. So fairly comfortable afternoon. That northeast wind is keeping things in check in terms of the oppressiveness of late August. So our futurecast is going to look like this. We'll keep it fairly rain-free today. You saw that stuff down around the coastline there, and that's basically just being pulled in from an upper level low over into Mexico that's kind of creating a little bit of lift in the atmosphere. But if you go into tomorrow's forecast, notice the 90s are back, and here come some of these scattered showers. And these are going to be some of the leftovers of Marco. It will become what we call a remnant low at that point. And mainly just means that we'll see some of these showers and thunderstorms drift on through, and I'd expect them to help spark some additional ones by tomorrow. So this is what I was talking about. There's the low. You can see the counterclockwise swirl there in northern Mexico. And so you're creating this lift right around Corpus Christi. We're getting some thunderstorms starting to flare there. I have to keep a watch on that for some of our southern counties. And then what it's also doing, though, is it's shearing away a good chunk of Marco. The center is actually located offshore right about here, but all the convection from that, as you saw earlier on the radar loop, is all being pushed in towards the panhandle of Florida. So the storm's getting ripped to shreds, and there's just not much to it at this point. Now, not the case as we get down towards Laura. Trinidad, Cuba, right about there. So you can see the center is just offshore, and we're getting some good convection in that center. That is going to continue to trek its way right now, which looks like it could be working and may even miss a good chunk of that northwestern tip of Cuba. And if that's the case, it could get out into the open water a little quicker. Right now, the official 10 o'clock advisory, 60 miles an hour gusting to 70. And as it works its way into the open Gulf, as we expected, the wind shear will back off. The warm water is all going to be tapped into. And we're likely going to see a Category 1 hurricane as early as Wednesday morning, maybe even sooner. And then as it works its way towards making landfall, possibly in towards late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, just across the Texas-Louisiana border towards Louisiana. It could be a Category 2, may even be stronger than that, packing at least 100-mile-an-hour winds before it moves inland. So that's got us kind of on the outer western fringe, but there's still a good chance that we could be looking at some potential for damage and certainly a potential for some trouble. As we said, the wind shear forecast, all this blue that you see across, that's by Tuesday. As the storm gets out there, it runs into that low shear environment, and that's an indication that it likely will strengthen fairly quickly. So let's talk about what the futurecast winds are going to look like with that. This is the American model, and notice as it gets closer to shore, we've got tropical storm force winds basically from East Texas all the way over to New Orleans, and then of course near the center where it makes landfall could be close to Category 3 force winds. That's 110 or 111 to 100 and almost 30 miles an hour, and that will do some significant damage. So what we're going to be watching with this, and we've got some decent agreement with the spaghetti models as well. That's always good to see. We'll have to watch that very carefully. If there are some track changes either to the west or east, that's going to affect how we will see the storm. So the bigger question is where exactly does it go? Well, this area of high pressure to the east is going to be a big determinant. The further east that is, the more Laura can kind of drift off to the west. If that continues to move off to the east, that will allow, because Laura will strengthen, to tighten and make that northerly curve, which is what both the European and the American models believe is going to happen. And of course, if you talk about the rainfall totals, as you might expect, there's about 10 to 12 inches, and anywhere from northern Louisiana just offshore could be looking at 6 to 8 inches for us. If this is the case, it continues to stay off to the east. That will mainly mean about 1 to 2 inches for us overall. So fairly decent forecast. Now, I want to show you this one more model, because here's part of the problem. This is our in-house model, and you notice that is a way different solution than what we're seeing with both the American and the European. And that, my friends, is why we say you always have to keep your guard up, because we're going to watch some track changes, which I expect to see as the new advisories come out this afternoon, this evening. But in terms of impacts locally for us, if it stays on that that same track. We'll mainly see some elevated chances for thunderstorms and even could see some very strong ones. And of course, higher surf, rip current, and we will see some fairly strong winds by late Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then things should start to back off as we get in towards the weekend. So still a lot of question marks, Christine, that all are going to have to be answered here in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, time will tell. Justin, we appreciate the update. Thank you.